Hi friends, this is your pal Scott Garibay, and today we're going to talk about American politics, and we're particularly going to talk about the incredibly deep pit that the American Democrats are currently in. They have been beaten very, very badly by President Donald Trump, and they're in a moment of crisis. This is really, really quite bad. And I think where you could see this most clearly is um, Ezra Klein. So Ezra Klein recently went on Neil Brennan, and this was a great interview. And the reason why is Neil Brennan is a comedian, and he has a great podcast called Blocks, and he has great guests on, and he does a phenomenal job. But he is starting to come into his own, and I think he realizes he is very good at this podcast thing, and he is reaching a point where I think he no longer feels that he needs to be limited to just dealing with comedians, right? He's like, I can interview anybody. So Ezra Klein is certainly not a comedian. Ezra Klein is the number one liberal commentator in the world. I think he's got more, influence, more connections, more momentum than any other liberal commentator. And one of the reasons why is I think right now, more than many of his compatriots, he's speaking truth, and he is looking at hard realities and is not allowing himself the luxury of palliatives, not self-palliatives or palliatives given to him by others, right? So he said something really shocking. So he was on Neil Brennan, and they're talking, and Neil's like, yeah, we're in a lot of trouble, how are we going to get out of this? And Ezra said something really brilliant, and what he said was, he's like, well, one of the problems right now is we need a candidate, right? And we have 100 candidates, and this part is paraphrasing, I'll tell you when I get to the accurate part. He said, we have 100 candidates, we're putting them up in front of the American people, and it's not working, and here's why. And okay, this is the part I got dead on right. So he said, we can no longer put up people who you can hear the algo clicking, right? And then he explained exactly what he meant by this, and what he meant, and he kind of broke it down, and he said, there's this group of people where you ask them a question and you could just hear the gears spin, right? And they're saying, okay, words are going to come out of my mouth now in response to this question. One, maybe I don't need to answer this question because I don't like the answer, right? Also, what is going to serve to my base best? What is the media going to take out of this to get a clip? Have I put anything into this interview that's going to get clipped? Do I not want to be clipped today? Like, maybe I've had too much shine recently, and you could just hear them, like, there are 100 algorithms saying, don't say this, don't say this, don't say this, change this, alter this, spin this, don't answer that, and like, so basically, and I as soon as he said it, I knew exactly what he was saying. This used to sell, right? If you had a nice suit, if you were tall, if you were handsome, if you had a good haircut, right? All this stuff worked, right? And you could spin whatever you wanted, and all anybody saw were your shining white teeth. And those days are gone. Those days are absolutely gone. There's just no more. It doesn't work anymore, right? And especially after Trump. And I think this is the issue, is when you, first of all, you ask Trump a question, you have no idea what's going to come out of their mouths, right? Whereas all these other algo speakers, that's the term, algo, like, I just came up with that myself. Because it's the moment he said it, I was like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you mean. Algo spinners, like, they have the question, and now they're gonna like like, you can hear the gears grinding up to give whatever answer is needed in the moment, not what that person actually feels, certainly not what that person actually thinks, and certainly what that person actually knows. right? It's just a manufactured answer coming out of the Algo factory of their, and certainly not their heart, and not even their mind, just their like their almost their animalistic response, right? Like, not no, let me back that up. Not an animal, like a knee-jerk reaction, right? Like, it's just like these people have been around so long, they know what's dangerous, they know what where the sharp edges are, and they are absolutely safe to the nines, right? And so there's this response that's been built from a cautious bunker of thought and feeling, right? Or actually a bunker where thoughts and feelings aren't really allowed, right? Like just this, safe manufacturing, right? Like almost a cognitive, automatic response, right? And these algo speakers, it's done. I don't think you'll ever be able to have one of these guys again. You're never going to be able to get one of these people again, where everything they say is so manufactured and so safe. And I think every single party in America that runs one of these algo speakers, they're cooked. They are cooked, right? And I think there's quite a few of them. I think Pete Buttigieg, Stacey Abrams, right? And I think this is another thing is, why do celebrities keep winning? Why are celebrities probably going to win American presidency for the next 50 years, right? At least, maybe 500 years, right? This reason is what every actor, right, worth their salt goes into a class. And you know what one of those acting teachers is going to tell them? There's got to be an element of truth in it. And this is where we reached with a whole bunch of political pundits, with a whole bunch of political commentators, and certainly with a whole bunch of politicians. There was just no truth in any of their words. It was just this algo speak. It was, the gear started clicking, and then this manufactured answer would just kind of dribble out. And honestly, it's amazing that it ever lasted as long as it did. But these days are President Donald Trump has taken a pickaxe to this. You're never going to get away with it. You're never going to be able to get away with it again after him. And I think for 3 centuries, people will be looking at how Donald Trump spoke. It was unpredictable. It was dangerous. It was shocking. It was entertaining. But it certainly wasn't manufactured. It was never manufactured. It was just, it came from different sources, right? And sources that were unexpected. Every single word you just heard in this video is my humble opinion. Nothing more, nothing less. The important part is when I get to hear your humble opinion, when you get in the comments and send your traffic. Please consider liking and subscribing. Have a fetch millennium.